Say Libra was something of lit a bit of a fire. This is something we've been focused on digital currencies for a couple decades. This is something we've been focused on digital currencies for a couple decades.
Specifically on cryptocurrencies, we are spending a lot of time on this on both an interagency basis and with the regulators. We're about to roll out some significant new requirements at FinCEN. We want to make sure that technology moves forward, but on the other hand, we want to make sure that cryptocurrencies aren't used for the equivalent of old Swiss secret number bank accounts. So we share your concerns, and you'll be seeing a lot of work coming out very quickly.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and guys, please like and subscribe. If you do like what you're listening to, please inform your friends and family. It is a very imperative time we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works. Because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that everything is planned out. Now, guys, I want to thank those who donate to the Cash App and Patreon, those who purchased the book, Cryptoteacher NWO book. Of course, we're going to get into Bitcoin first. Right now with Bitcoin, we're flat. The market is flat. Also, guys, you know I'm a big VeChain trader. Of course, VeChain get that left. Basically, a lot of news is coming up about that it may be getting listed on Coinbase. Of course, we don't know yet. But right now, of course, if you watch my videos, especially from the beginning, that's all I ever talked about was VeChain. Now, of course, like I said, it gets that left. Of course, it's going to go back down. Guys, that's the game. So make sure you are taking advantage of it while it goes up and go down. Same thing with the stock market. We see the stock market had this big left for like 7 days. We knew we were due for a correction, guys. You have to understand that. We knew we was due for a correction. So the fact is that 85% of the stock market is owned by the top 10%. Take your money and run. Remember I told you. I took my money when it comes to JCPenney. I rolled it up, tripled my earnings, and I came out. Take your money and run. Take your profits and run. Those who lost money today are those who got greedy, thinking it's going to keep going. Nothing goes in a straight line. Same thing with cryptos. Just like I said, probably this weekend, we should be over that 10 mark. And then, of course, Bach next week, we have that leg lower. Now, guys, this is going over into the Fed. Of course, we know the Fed controls cryptos and it controls the stock market. We saw $100 million Treasury input on Well Alert. Just like I said, make sure you're looking at Well Alert, USDT. That's all you see is big money coming into the stable coins. Now, we also saw Europe actually use the stable coin instead of going through SWIFT. So, guys, we know the stable coin is going to be pumping. Now, we saw that a tweet that came out with Coinbase that stated that USDT was going to be on it, and then they deleted it. So we know that we know for a fact, guys, these exchanges are nothing but banks. That's how they're making their money, is feeing us to death. They're going to move all this liquidity over into these exchanges. Now, the reason why I say I'm going over the Fed today, because we have to understand that something very, very important happened last year towards the end of the year. Now, we have Zoltan. Zoltan is a genius, understanding finances. He works for Credit Suisse. He also did a little work for the Federal Reserve for a little while. So he was there to explain how the Federal Reserve repo market and all that work. Now, he said that last year that the Fed would run out of liquidity. So basically the stock market would crash, everything would crash. What did they do? They flooded tons of billions of dollars inside of the repo market towards the end of December. Now, the fact is that basically, let's say if we look at the funds rate. Last year, I think it was towards the end of last year, I think it was like 1.5 and 1.7. That's the amount of money, of course, that the dealers, your Goldman Sachs, your Bank of America, the big banks get for loaning money to the little banks. Of course, in the repo market, that spiked to 10%. So, of course, what do they have to do? They have to flood the repo market to make sure they control that and keep that down. That's the whole point of the repo market, to keep liquidity, keep all this down. The reason why they buy bonds is what? To control the yield curve. So therefore they keep that down. Well, of course, if it spikes, it messes everything up. They stop controlling. Of course, we have algorithms that control everything. Now, the big point about it is that last year, I think they did 10 trillion dollars of, I think, T-bills. So the fact is, those come due, I think they did for a year, they come due June of this year. So the fact is that when you look at the C word, what did they do? They shut down the whole globe, guys. The whole globe. That was the reason why they shut it down, to get this repo market under control. And then, of course, what did they do? They actually get laws passed to take away our rights. Like Hillary and Emmanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste. So with so many things they got passed with shutting down this economy, putting people out of work, getting rid of the middle class, getting rid of these small companies, so therefore corporations rise to the top. And I'll go over that in my book, how the corporations are going to be, of course, the government. But all this was to get the finances in order. Because towards the end of the year, guess what? We're going to run into this same issue, where this whole thing is going to collapse, and they basically quadrupled the debt. 10 times the debt. So now what's going to happen is that they have to get this whole system moved over to what? Blockchain. All of it has to go digital by the end of the year. It has to. It's no choice. Now we go into the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection. Who do they have in there? They have Ripple and XRP. This is maybe the second time XRP has ever been mentioned in a government document. And you can go to that website. You'll see that at the top of this screen. But the fact is that, guys, they're moving this system over because they have to have it digital. Once it becomes blockchain and digital, it really doesn't matter. Numbers are out the window. But as long as we have cash that has to move around, liquidity becomes a problem. So, guys, we definitely see blockchain, crypto is definitely going to kick into gear these few months. Every single month is going to be big in 2020. Now we have Steve Mnuchin saying that we can't shut down the economy again. Of course, we had Trump saying we can't shut down the economy again. Just like I stated, guys, this was all done for a reason. It had nothing to do because of the C word. This had something to do with them getting this repo market under control, the financial market under control, until they're able to kick in this digital economy. Now, we have, of course, the housing. They said the housing apocalypse coming. We know the fact is that basically people out of work, they're going to be unable to pay. Now, of course, they're getting this free money. Nobody's really having any issues paying the bills because a whole lot of people are getting free money. But, of course, that free money will come to an end. Now, will it come to an end in July? Most likely not, because they want to keep this running this election year. So most likely not. But towards the end of the year, you definitely believe this will come to an end. Now, we have South Korea is going to be accepting the digital yuan. Just like I said, the Asian connection is coming together. It's definitely going to happen. And, of course, the United States is going to fall back to that number 2 spot. Now, we also have Starbucks closing 400 stores. This is just the beginning of the wave. Everything is going to be digital. Of course, we're going to start having your automation, your cars, these robots. All this is going to come into play. Remember, I told you that cryptos are not for the people. Cryptos are for these robots so they can pay each other and not have humanity even involved. So we must understand that also. Get your money. Get out. Do not let greed kill you. Now, guys, that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the books, Cryptoteacher and WO book. The actual cryptos, if you're new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Also, your stocks, chips, banking, cobalt, gaming. Everybody's sitting at home. Don't forget about those stocks. The C word, biotech stocks. And then also Because everybody's getting this free money sitting at home, what they do, they drink, they smoke weed. Y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget about those stocks.